If you go to our website or streaming channel 8.2, we have a lot of videos, including one that's a 2-minute and 30-second one that goes into more details about the snow event, kind of times out things a little bit more than what we could do here on air sometimes. So definitely head over there. We update that every 6 hours too for your information. So check that out. As with any other event too, we have a lot of information online too. Overall, if you look at the radar right now, and I highlight, these are not temperatures, these are dew points. These are typical temperatures that you would need to go bring that temperature down to be 100% relative humidity, and that would ensure that you have precipitation going on. Quite dry. The one problem with these is if they stay this low and then you start precipitating, you can actually bring that temperature all the way below freezing and basically go from precip, no precip, to snow or wintry mix right away. So we'll have to keep an eye on these dew points right now, and that's why some of this radar is showing up as a little bit of light snow going on, although a lot of this, once again, is not reaching the ground because we are so dry right at this moment. But something as you keep in mind, overall the bigger picture is the lows out to the Nebraska. That's going to head well south, so it's going to be not in our picture, but this is the band that continues to develop here just along the boundary, stretching all the way almost into northern Iowa. Right now, that's the one that's eventually going to expand and then push east across the area before it then sinks south tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at right now. And most of that is rain. Eventually, we will see a line of snow developing late tonight, and we're talking probably closer to 4 to 5 in the morning, going to about noon. It has shifted further north since yesterday, so more snow as you go further north. Less likely La Crosse. If you go south La Crosse, you're going to see much in the way of a lot of snow, mainly just rain right now. But this could change. We'll have to keep an eye on this throughout the event. It'll go back and forth depending on temperature, and elevation too will make a difference on this. And that's why the winter weather advisory is basically 1 a.m. to noon, and it just covers a small area county just north of La Crosse up to Eau Claire, and really that's where you could see the potential maybe up to 4. I think most areas will probably stay under that, and it is going to be a heavy wet snow giving a lot of moisture on there, so slush on roads that can be quite slippery when it gets that wet. That would probably be the main concern going forward. Now if we time out the event going forward, you can see a lot of this precipitation will struggle to reach the ground as temperatures climb up and that dew point starts climbing up too. I think after we get about 9 to 10, we'll start seeing some of this reach the ground. Probably maybe not as much as indicated right there, but it will start off as rain likely for La Crosse southwestward. Now as we go throughout closer to midnight, the only concern I have is these outer edges as that precipitation reaches the northern areas, because these temperatures are going to drop first before they start coming back up. So if they hold below freezing, you might see a little mix going on at the start of the event before some of this area then climbs above freezing. That dew point gets above freezing too, that we turned over to a little bit of rain. So I won't be surprised to see some of that too. Now as we go later in the night, 3 to 4, we're going to start seeing some of this pocket. You can see right there's one of those pockets where the precipitation reaches where the temperature is below freezing before it starts rising. We'll start seeing some transition start of the morning commute. That transition will start then really rapidly going on after about 6, as you see from north to south. But south of La Crosse, it's going to mainly just rain. It may transition to a little mix before it begins to wrap up. As you see that band kind of sitting there through about noon. Afternoon, all this precipitation pushes east. We dry out. Some of the northern areas actually get a little bit of sunshine too, while southern areas continue with that cloud cover. So if you break it down, the rain to snow is towards the AM commute. There could be a little wintry mix, and we're talking sleet, maybe in a little freezing drizzle as you go further north towards Eau Claire before it turns to maybe some snow. That'll be tricky, but that's something to keep in mind of. Most snow will be between those areas. Doesn't mean you'll see snow outside of that area, but that's accumulated snow really area. And then roads, most will be wet. That's slush probably on side or areas that are a little bit higher up, less traveled roads. Once again, it's going to be a heavy wet snow, so that slush can be quite slippery in this type of event. Otherwise, as I mentioned, the rest of the week is fairly quiet, and we actually have some 50s potentially on Thursday and Friday, and that rain that looked potentially for Thursday into Friday has now pushed well to the south of the area. So we just have a dry cold front come back, and Friday we come back to the mid 40s, and the weekend overall is shaping up to be fairly quiet. So we just got to get through about the next 24 hours, and beyond that it's a fairly quiet forecast. But it's the first snow. It's not a huge amount of snow. As I brought up 1957, we had 11 inches on this day, or tomorrow. So, but it's the first snow for a lot of people, so something to keep in mind for the morning commute. Take it slow and you'll be fine.
Always a tough first one. That's right. Thanks, Greg.